everybody. Welcome into Scores, Goals, and Touchdowns. Now, we're going to do something a little different here. Now, it's well documented. Our predictions on this show haven't been the best. So we all predicted the Heat to lose, I think, every series. Nick predicted the Washington Capitals to go all the way, among some other predictions he's made. The only one who's really done, I guess, pretty well in the predictions, Arnold over here. He predicted the Stanley Cup Finals. No one else has been able to. So you know what? We're going to keep it going. You're going to talk about this series. It's going to be a bit of a reward for him. So okay, I know you said Vancouver. I looked it up. It's going to be the first Canadian team since '93 to win the Cup. Yeah. So you're still winning.
Well, for one, for Vancouver, they have to keep on keeping on with their top two lines. The Sedin twins and Alexander Burrows. They've been the main point getters for Vancouver. The Sedins are excellent at setting up one another, and Burrows too, for excellent scoring opportunities. And then their second line, led by American hero Ryan Kessler.
From the Ohio State University.
Yeah. Yes, I know. Somewhere Kevin Weber is smiling at that statement. But Kessler is the leading point getter on this team for him. He's been doing everything, all the small things that don't show up on the stat line for him, creating loose pucks, creating odd man rushes for his line mates, things like that. And one of the bigger keys for Vancouver that really hasn't been talked about mainstream, that'll probably be a very huge factor, is the impending return of Manny Malhotra. Two months ago, he took a puck to his eye. People thought he would have, career could have been over, and he could have lost his eyesight. And he's been cleared to play for the Stanley Cup Finals, and he will be an incredible boost for Vancouver, especially on faceoffs.
Now, I know you think Vancouver's going to win it. What are some of the keys, do you think, for Boston to maybe take this series?
Boston has to play loose. They feel, with all their young guns, for lack of a better term, like Tyler Seguin, Patrice Bergeron, people like that, they feel like they're playing with house money because a lot of people thought Washington would get to the final or Pittsburgh would make another run. Yet here Boston sits in the Stanley Cup Final for the first time since 1990, 1990. But with the young guns that they have, Tyler Seguin, like I said, they feel all the pressure's on Vancouver, so they just need to play loose, and they feel that they'll be in every game, especially with the way Tim Thomas has been playing in that show. I picked Vancouver in 7, and that's not going to change now. I think Vancouver will win the series on home ice in Game 7 in an epic series.
All right, now another thing about you that many people might not know, you're also the, I guess, the official soccer guy of this show. Now,
that is correct.
When you're on a show with Nick, Elsie, all these other people, no one else talks about soccer. I like it.
That's because there's no MLS team in Detroit. But
I know there's big things happening going on right now that I know you want to talk about. So you know what? The floor is yours.
All right. Well, yesterday was the UEFA Champions League finals, like the European Super Bowl, pretty much. The top 2 club teams in all of Europe crowned themselves champions of Europe for that year. Yesterday was Manchester United, champions of England for the 19th time in their history, more than any other team in England, against Barcelona, who by all accounts is one of the greatest sides ever constructed, and yesterday was their coronation as they beat Man U 3-1. Barcelona has, I'm sure you might have heard of him, Lionel Messi, the greatest player in the world, bar none right now. Little 5'6" Argentinian kid, but what he does is just unbelievable. He set up Pedro's first goal in that game. He scored what eventually became the game-winning goal. He helped Barca dominate possession, and by all accounts, a lot of people consider him to be the next incarnation of Pele, for lack of a better term.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, come back, bring a new guest. Arnold's going to stay here as reward for doing so well, and we'll see you there. Hello everybody, thanks again. We're back with Scores, Goals, and Touchdowns with Mr. Pat. Arnold, back from the first segment. New guy, Alan Campos, new to the show, a long-time watcher. So we're going to talk about the NBA playoffs real quick. Heat, Mavs, who do you like?
I like the Heat. The big 3, they've been stepping up, real big. I feel that D-Wade, he's going to, just turn on this series. He had a rough series with Chicago, but I feel that he's going to step up real nice. And people have been doubting him all season. But time and time again, they've come through when the clock is on, when the heat's on. They're there. They answer the call.
Arnold?
I'm also going to pick Miami, but for a different reason. The conspiracy theorist in me is clearly, yeah. I don't think David Stern will ever want to hand the championship trophy, the Larry O'Brien trophy, to Mark Cuban. So despite whatever Dirk does, I think Miami, as evidenced in the 06 finals when Wade went to the foul line a bajillion times, down the stretch of games, I think Miami's going to win this series, just like in 06 and 6.
Yeah, I'm going to give Miami the kiss of death. I think they're going to win too. I think they're going to take the series. I don't think it'll go more than 5. Miami just playing too good right now. They're all locked in. I don't see the Mavs being able to stop them. Now we're going to go past that, move to the NBA, kind of segueing to this. Scottie Pippen recently has come out. He says that Michael Jordan was the best scorer ever, but he really believes that LeBron James will be the best player ever. That's just no explanation. I can't even say anything. What are your thoughts?
I don't think LeBron could ever be the greatest player of all time, considering the talent he's with in Miami. And for my money, the greatest player of all time is Bill Russell, because he's won more rings than anyone else. Better than Jordan. You know, you can't really compare different eras, different sizes, different positions.
So the best way to compare individual players is the team statistic?
It depends. I mean, it's such an arbitrary argument. I think Pippen is making the statement in part to remind people that he was on that team. It wasn't just Michael Jordan and the merry band of miscreants, for lack of a better term. I mean, Jordan did have Dennis Rodman for the second three-peat. They also had, name your great European player. They had Tony Kukoc, Luke Longley back in the day. Great outside shooting with Ron Harper and then Steve Kerr. Obviously, Jordan's a great player, there's no doubt about that. And he basically he laid the foundation for people like LeBron and Dwight Howard, guys like that, to be who they are now, with the advertising and all that.
Do you think, what are your thoughts?
Well, I kind of agree with you. He laid the foundation for, great players to come on, but LeBron, I don't see how you can say he's not going to be the greatest player. He brings so much energy to his team. He's clutch every game. And you mentioned Bill Russell and his championships. How can you judge somebody on their championships? LeBron was in Cleveland for, I think it was 7 years, and went to the finals and the playoffs almost every season with nobody around him supporting him.
I think, like you said, if LeBron had won a championship in Cleveland with nobody around him, I think you could make the case. But I don't think we'll never know the true greatness of LeBron, because there'll always be that cloud of like, oh, we had Dwayne Wade. Like it's the same, it's similar to Chris Bosh, mainly Dwayne Wade. It's like the same cloud that hangs over Phil Jackson, because they say he was the greatest coach ever, but he also coached Michael Jordan and Pippen and Rodman, and then he had Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah, but it looks easier for him that he's got 10 titles. I don't think
11.
11. I don't think it matters to him much.
No.
Jordan also had Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman too. So.
Yeah,
Scottie Pippen, one of the top 50 players in NBA history.
and Bill Huntington too.
Yeah. Moving on past that, Lakers, shocker. Nobody on the show last week thought this would happen. Went with Mike Brown. Now, Mike Brown knows the defensive coach, was with the Cavs for LeBron's best years in Cleveland. Lakers, they've always had scoring. They've never had defense. They bring in Mike Brown, who took a bad Cleveland team, brought him to the finals. Yes, he rode LeBron, but they did play really good defense towards the end there. Now, do you think that was a good move for the Lakers?
It's not Mike Brown's team, it's Kobe Bryant's team.
Yeah.
I think in part they hired Mike Brown because he knows how to handle stars, like he did with LeBron.
I think they didn't really handle LeBron.
Well, I think LeBron could have made his decision 3 years prior to when he actually signed with Miami when they went to the Olympics. I think Brown will be a serviceable coach. I'm not a huge NBA fan, but head coaching the NBA is not as vital to a team, I don't think, as say football coach. So I think there's only 5 guys on the floor, and if one of them is Kobe Bryant, you're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah.
I don't really like this fit. Like Arnold was saying, in Cleveland, he didn't run that team. LeBron ran that team. And, when they would come down to clutch plays, you would see him on the sideline drawing up some plays, and LeBron wouldn't have the ball. And those were the games that they didn't win, and those were the games that you knew he made the final decision. And I don't think that being in LA, you're going to be able to do that with having LeBron and having him behind. It's not going to work. I don't see this working.
Not to mention the inevitability of the Lakers getting Dwight Howard too.
See, I'm with Alan on this. I mean, he did well in Cleveland for a while, but I mean, how much of that was LeBron? I mean, you have arguably, well, Scottie Pippen, the best player of all time, and you make the finals once and you get swept, I don't know. I don't think he'll be that great. He's got a whole different type of diva now with Kobe Bryant than he did with LeBron.
An aging Kobe Bryant,
yeah,
too.
All right, moving on past that, we're going to go to baseball. Earlier in the week, San Francisco Giants catcher Buster Posey, just a nasty collision, says he's most likely out for the year. A lot of people now are asking the question, should baseball be doing more to protect their catchers? Should they change the rules? What happened? He was blocking home plate, which you're always taught to do. Runner just ran through him and just disgusting hit. Do you think baseball should do more to protect it? Should they have rule changes for that?
No, I actually watched this hit, and it was a clean hit, blocked the play like you said, and I don't feel that baseball should make a change. It's part of the game. It's what makes the game exciting. It was just a freak accident, and I feel that if this hit wouldn't have caused him to break his leg and be out for the season, that we wouldn't even be talking about this right now.
I agree with A-Dog 100% here. It's part of the game. Yeah, it was a nasty injury, and if it happened to someone that wasn't a vital part of the defending World Series champions, I don't think it'd be as big of a story. Like I said though, it's part of the game. Everything was proper. The guy slid outside to try to slide around the block. They made contact, and Posey wound up breaking his leg and screwing his knee up. Yeah, it's part of the game. Posey could have done a better job to try to maybe not get down and stretch his legs out, so create that awful bend in the leg. He'll be back though, and everyone will be fine in the end.
All right, the most frustrating story for me this week, being a White Sox fan, Adam Dunn, his second golden sombrero in a week. Now, for those of you who don't know, the golden sombrero is when you go 0 for 4 strikeouts. It doesn't happen that often. It's strangely impressive that he was able to do this twice in a week. He's currently 0 for 33 against lefties, batting average at 184. It's just not good. Do you think he'd be able to turn this around?
I think he will. He's 31 years old. He always had a problem striking out, but he was so he was always playing, always constantly playing. Now he's in the AL, being DH, so it's going to be a little bit hard for him to find his rhythm. He's playing in tiny ballparks, and he's been a good home run hitter in the past, so I feel that he is going to be able to turn this around. He got a 4-year deal. Your first year, it's always going to be shaky because you're in a new league. But I think this season of 2 years, they'll start to pick it up.
And the time it took you to finish reading that sentence, Pat, I think Adam Dunn just struck out twice. So, in other words, it is kind of not the greatest free agent signing in history. He's right up there with the Jason Worth signing in Washington in terms of bad signings this year, but Washington gave him a ton of money, and he's not doing nearly as much as they wanted him to. But back to Adam Dunn, I don't know if he'll turn it around or not. This is his first go-around in the American League. Coming up with the Reds, he was used to, even though he was a defensive calamity, the power numbers in Cincinnati were pretty much unmatched in baseball. The way he was hitting the ball out of the down right with the short right field porch at the Great American Ballpark. I don't know if he'll turn it around in Chicago or not. I don't know if he can, and if he does, will the White Sox have enough patience to wait for him to do it before they try to trade him at the deadline this year?
All right, everybody, thanks for watching. We're going to come back and do Pat's piece. See you then. Hello again, everybody. You know what I never understood? The constant need for owners to always have new field, new floor, new video monitors, new stadium, or in the case of the New York Yankees, a brand new exact replica of the very stadium they're leaving. It boggles my mind that someone could think that spending $1.5 billion on a replica is a good idea. You'd think at some point somebody would say, hey, instead of spending all that money to build the same thing, why not fix it? Sorry, that's not modern enough. I wonder how sports fans knew when to cheer before they had a giant screen with the pixelated monsters telling everybody to get loud. It bothers me that a city that loves its team like Sacramento does might lose the Kings because their owners want a new arena. People want to see their teams win, not some ridiculously overpriced screen that shows them what they just saw. You want to stop losing money? Stop making bad decisions and give your fans something to watch. Thanks for watching. This has been Scores, Goals, and Touchdowns with Mr. Pat. See you next week.